Hi, you guys. I'm back again for Coco's Kitchen. For today, I am making eggplant sliders. And to be honest, I know this plate doesn't look too great. I've never said that I was a professional chef, but this was really, really good. So please continue watching and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. First thing you have to do is prepare your eggplant. I prefer to peel the skin off my eggplant. I do not like it. I tried multiple times, but every time I eat like a cooked eggplant with skin on it, the skin, like the texture of it is like really slimy. So I am just going to cut the ends of it to make sure all my slices are completely flat. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel my whole eggplant. I decided to get this size because I wanted more for my buck. And the great thing about it, if you read my blog post, and by the way, if you're not following my blog, which is also linked below, you would see where I got this eggplant for a really, really great deal at a local orchard in my hometown. So, yeah. Now that it's all peeled away, it's time to slice the eggplant. You want to slice this about 1/2 inch. When you cook it, it will shrink and it will flatten some, so don't worry. And just a fun tip, eggplant is actually one of my favorite dishes. My mom, she used to make eggplant parmesan, and I absolutely loved it. All the kids that, like when I was a kid and I told them, they're like, what is eggplant? La, 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 la. I was like, y'all don't know anything. It's really good. So next you want to season your flour and your egg. I'm starting with black pepper, well, no, basil, and then I'm going in with black pepper. And the flour that I'm using is actually coconut flour. I never used this before, and I want to give it a try. And I want to season both things because I want to make sure every layer of my bite I have seasoning. So yeah, you want to get some garlic powder, and also onion powder as well. It's not proper, like I don't have proper amounts. I just, pour until my heart desires. You want to make sure this is very flavorful. And then the last thing, I'm adding turmeric to it. And by the way, I've never made this before. I am just winging it as I go. And to stretch my eggs, I add a little bit of almond milk. And I'm using 2 eggs, by the way, for this whole eggplant. And for the coconut flour, I just pour enough to cover, the bottom of my plate. And I'm mixing all of my seasonings into my flour, and then I'm going to whisk my egg batter as well. You want to get your oiled pan. I'm oiling my pan with olive oil, but you can do any oil of your choice. And now I am setting up my assembly line of how I want to start dipping my eggplant into my batter, my flour, and then I'm laying it along the tray What you will not see in this video is I ran out of space in this one tray and I needed to grab another pan. I tend to do this all the time. Like, I'm always thinking this one pan is enough to lay out my eggplant. It's never enough. Never, never, never enough. But yeah, I dipped in my egg, and then I'm going to dip in my flour, and then I'm going to put it on my tray. And just keep on repeating that until, all of your eggplant is perfectly covered and onto your pans. And at the same time, you want to start preheating your oven on 400 degrees. And as you can tell, my flour is starting to get really low. I thought I had to actually add more flour and re-season my plate. But surprisingly, I didn't run out of flour. I was able to use every bit of that. As you can see, I got really lazy and I just dipped the rest of that in the batter and the flour and call it a day. But yeah, you want to make sure you have flour on both sides of your eggplant pieces. And as you can see, I'm adding basil on top of my eggplant. I love flavor, like I said. I am a flavor girl. I want every bite to be flavor. And while that's in the oven, I am preparing the toppings to go on top. So I have my sliced peppers, green peppers, yellow peppers, and orange peppers that I got at the local orchard. And I'm snipping a couple so I can make these pieces, spread out. And next I added some onion to that. You want to put that in your pot all together, cook it down, stir very frequently with some oil. My vegetables actually started burning a little bit. So yeah, I had to stir that in very frequently and add some oil in there once in a while because I just didn't want burnt tasting vegetables. And yeah, cook it down until your onions are translucent and your vegetables are tender, how you like it. I'm also going in to add seasoning to that as well. I'm adding garlic powder. I love some garlic, y'all. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, I love garlic powder. Mix that in nicely. Want every piece to be seasoned. And now it's time to add my ground turkey. I usually prefer cooking with ground turkey when I'm cooking in the home. If I go out, I tend to actually use beef, like when I'm ordering. But if I'm making it, I want lean meats. And I want to stir and mix that like so. And the reason why I'm putting it into this pot is because my other pot is like janky, so I have to put it in this pot to cook it. And I'm adding seasoning on top of the meat as well. So I have black pepper, and instead of using basil, I am coming in with some oregano. Mix that in, just mix them very nicely. And I just continue to add seasoning until, it smells delicious. So now that my meat and my vegetables are cooked, I'm adding a dab of sweet onion barbecue sauce. Y'all, I love this barbecue sauce. When I first tried it, I just used all of it, and then I went to get some more and I could not find it in the store. So every time I went to the grocery store, I was on a hunt to find this barbecue sauce, and I finally found it, and I got me 2 bottles. But yeah, you don't want to put too much. You don't want to saturate. You just want a little bit just for flavor, and stir that all in really good. So after the 30 minutes are up, it's time to flip your eggplant over. Look how toasty it looks. It honestly looks like bread. It reminds me of the English muffins, like once you get it out of the toaster oven. And also the flour that comes off of this, it's flaky just like the crumbs off of the English muffin, which is crazy. And now it's time to add your toppings to it. This is going to be the messy part. I am using these tongs, so then every time I pick up the meat, it's also draining the juice off the meat as well, because I don't want my eggplant to be soggy. If you have soggy eggplant when you're eating this, it is going to be horrible. You're honestly going to be eating this like with a fork and a knife. But yeah, you want to just plate this on it like so. And again, it's going to be messy. It's not going to lay perfectly. But you want every piece of your eggplant to actually have some form amount of meat on there. Next, I'm going to add cheese, cheese of your choice. My favorite shredded cheese is Kobe Jack. But yeah, I want to sprinkle some on every piece as well. And after you sprinkle that onto your eggplant, you want to pop that back in the oven just until the cheese is melted. And then once it's melted, it's ready to serve. And I'm about to show you what you can add on top of that. This is the end result. I drizzled some more sweet onion barbecue sauce on top and some chipotle ranch dressing on top. Again, I've never tried this before. I just thought of this and it came out delicious. So the size eggplant I use, I was able to make 4 serving sizes, and the best way to reheat this is pop this right back in the oven again so it get toasty. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to hit subscribe, y'all. Bye.